trying to recover so many people that have been ignored, denied, mistreated, scorned by official history and the official memory. The memory has also private proprietors. So they denied us the right to be all we really are. It was so important for me, this impossible task, this mad project, this mad adventure of trying to recover the colors of the terrestrial rainbow, mutilated by racism and machismo and militarism and elitism and so on, so many ways of mutilating our own memory and our plenitude. We are much more than we are told we are.
I get struck, just in passing, although I wanted to read you another thing, of what it was for this book to come out of that moment, of a mortal moment for you, where you were having to stare and turn away. And there's this quality in this book of summing up, but also of looking away and looking back, seeing what's looking back at you and so forth. There was a passage I thought I would read to you. It's a strange passage I like a lot, actually, by a Texas writer named T.K. Whipple. I love this name, Whipple. And this is the quote that Larry McMurtry, the great American writer, President of Japan and so forth, puts at the front of his novel Lonesome Dove. And this is admittedly a Texas point of view on the history of the world. But he writes, "All America lies at the end of the wilderness road, and our past is not a dead past, but still lives in us. Our forefathers, our ancestors, had civilization inside themselves, the wild outside. We live in the civilization they created, but within us the wilderness still lingers." And then this, "What they dreamed, we live. What we live, they dreamed." How's that for a mirror? A history mirror.
It's okay.
Do you think about the way in which, I'm asking a little bit about the gaze of people from the past at us. You asked the question at one point, were the natives blind? You know, did they not see both oceans? Do you think about them looking at, when you say that they are looking, do you think about them during their lives looking at us, looking to the future the way that we look at the past?
Looking at the present at the past, yes. Yes. I'm trying to violate the frontiers between past and present, and try to recover time without boundaries and the world without frontiers. I wouldn't be able, I certainly would not be able to write about anything happened centuries before, or years before, or millenniums before, if I wouldn't feel it as present. I'm friend or enemy, love or hate people born centuries ago. And I cannot be objective when I write about something that happened centuries ago or last week. I'm never objective. And I'm always amazed about, no, I'm not. I'm amazed about the religion of objectivity here on the stage, for instance. There is a sort of religion of objectivity, but the human gaze is not objective. It's absolutely subjective, completely subjective. Once I was sharing with a friend, a poet objectivity. And he said, forget it. Those who speak and preach objectivity, they really don't want to be objective. They want to be objects, to be safe from human pain. And he was right, and I don't want to be object.
I believe that the reason one needs to use the word I, the reason one needs to be subjective is out of modesty. You're not being megalomaniacal to be subjective. On the contrary, you are being modest. You're saying it is from this point of view I experience another person.
Yes, at least I confess the truth.
Yeah,
I'm not lying. I'm not saying, I'm not taking part in this fight. No. De los indignos y los indignados tomo partido.
I wondered if you could give us some news of the South, and specifically Uruguay these days. Your home country is engaged in a rather remarkable exercise once again.
Is engaged in what?
A rather remarkable exercise again to overthrow the impunity.
Yes.
Can you tell us, we haven't heard about that at all in American news. Could you tell us what's going on? It's very exciting.
It's part of the resurrection of creative energy in Latin American countries in general, which I think it's healthy. And the recovering memory is part of it.
And what is happening in Uruguay right now?
We have improved our memory. It's not still a complete memory, far from that, but at least we are not so sick of amnesia, and there are some militaries in jails, which is really quite an advance, since Uruguay was something like a paradise of impunity since before the last 4 or 5 years it began to change, and I think it's healthy. It's healthy to remember, because otherwise you would repeat life instead of inventing it. And the great challenge is to imagine the future, not to obey it. But if you refuse to know what happened, we will never be able to create a real democracy.
I was looking at the news today online, and just today they announced that the referendum campaign has succeeded in getting 300,000 signatures for a ballot that will take place in October to overthrow the impunity law, which is very exciting to read. What do you think of events here in the United States, where some people are saying that we should be looking back at what happened in Guantanamo and Abu Ghraib, and even Obama seems not to want to do that?
Well, I'm sure he wants to change this, but perhaps he's still lost in the bush.
How do we get him out of the bush?
I don't know. I'm a foreigner. I don't know anything about this. Just some questions. Sometimes I ask myself, for instance, when I read the newspapers or watch news, and then ask myself, but the real pirates, the real